Are you a fan of keen boxing skills? Then, you probably wouldn't be one without knowing the legend Muhammad Ali. Yes, the boxing legend. Ali's skill set in the ring could be an entire textbook for upcoming athletes, not just boxers. But beyond all the titles and glories, one fight stands out, the one that shook the entire boxing world. Do you know about that match? If not, sit tight as we relive Muhammad Ali's punch that shocked the world, knocked out in seconds. Chapter 1. The Rise of Muhammad Ali. Before Muhammad Ali became the larger-than-life icon that we all remember today, he was a young boy from Louisville, Kentucky, named Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. His boxing career started from an almost laughable incident. His bike got stolen. He was just 12 when he decided to take up boxing to whoop whoever took it. Lucky for us, he never found that thief. 6 years later, in 1960, Clay stood tall, winning a gold medal at the Rome Olympics. Fast forward a few more years, and boom, he turned professional, and the world of boxing had a new name on its lips. But even by 1964, when he shocked the world by defeating the fearsome Sunny Liston to become the youngest heavyweight champion at age 22, he wasn't quite Muhammad Ali yet. Well, not until shortly after when he converted to Islam and changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. From then on, he wasn't just fighting men in the ring. He was battling stereotypes, racism, and political controversies outside of it too. And then came the iconic match, the one everyone talks about. But if you really want to understand why this fight was such a big deal, you've got to meet the mountain of a man he was up against. Trust me, this wasn't your average scuffle. Chapter 2. Meet Sunny Liston. Now, let's introduce the other heavyweight elephant in the room. Sunny Liston. Liston wasn't just any boxer. He was the boogeyman of the boxing world. He was a powerhouse with brutal punching power and an intimidating presence. Seriously, his opponents feared him before they even got in the ring. By the time he fought Ali, Liston had already beaten the legendary Floyd Patterson twice. People were scared of him, and honestly, who could blame them? The man looked like he was chiseled out of granite and had fists that could probably dent steel. Going into the rematch in 1965, after Ali had already dethroned him in 1964, Liston was looking for redemption. Chapter 3. Muhammad Ali vs. Sunny Liston. By the time May 25, 1965 rolled around, tensions were high. The Ali vs. Liston rematch was the most anticipated fight of the year. The first fight had already stunned everyone, as Ali, the 22-year-old upstart, had beaten the fearsome Liston. Critics weren't convinced, though. Many thought Ali was just lucky, and Liston was still regarded as the real deal. On the flip side, Ali, now fully embracing his new identity, was eager to prove he wasn't just the young loudmouth he was accused of being. He had grown into the role of a master provocateur, using both his mouth and fists to torment his opponents. He taunted Liston mercilessly in the lead-up, calling him all kinds of names, my personal favorite. The Big Ugly Bear. Could you imagine going into a fight being called that? This rematch wasn't just a boxing match, it was symbolic warfare. Ali needed to cement his status, and Liston needed to reclaim his throne. The stakes? Immense. The pressure? Insane. The outcome? Well, hold on to your seat for this one. Chapter 4. The punch heard around the world. When the bell rang for the first round on that fateful day, no one could have predicted what would happen next. Just a minute and a half into the fight, Ali delivered a punch that would become one of the most debated moments in boxing history. Liston hit the canvas after a lightning-fast right-hand punch from Ali, which many later dubbed the Phantom Punch because it was so quick that many didn't even see it. Wait, was it magic? Nope, just pure, devastating speed and skill. Sunny Liston, the man who was supposed to destroy Ali, was suddenly on the ground, and in a matter of seconds, it was all over. Liston tried to get up, but it was too late. Referee Jersey Joe Walcott didn't even finish his count properly, confused by the chaotic situation. The match ended with Ali standing over Liston, famously yelling, "Get up and fight, sucker," as photographers captured the moment that would go down in sports history. What just happened? Did Ali knock him out for real? Or was it all staged? These were the questions swirling around immediately after the fight. Chapter 5. Breaking down the Phantom Punch. Ah, the Phantom Punch. Even today, boxing fans and analysts argue about that punch. Did it really knock out Sunny Liston? Some people thought Liston took a dive, that the mob was involved, and that he threw the fight intentionally. But if you take a step back from all the conspiracy theories and just look at the physics of Ali's punch, you see something magical. Here's what happened. Ali's speed was otherworldly. He wasn't the biggest or the strongest heavyweight, but he was by far the quickest. His jab was like a bullet, fired with the precision of a sniper. A study once measured Ali's jab as fast as 4 out of hundredths of a second, quicker than the blink of an eye. His footwork was slick, his movement effortless, and his boxing IQ unparalleled. Ali used everything he had to deliver a perfectly timed punch that hit Liston just right. Ali didn't just rely on brute strength, his intelligence in the ring was mind-blowing. He was a master of positioning and baiting his opponents, making them fall right into his traps. The punch that knocked out Liston was no accident. It was a calculated move. Ali simply hit him where it hurt, and Liston couldn't take it. Sure, it didn't look like a haymaker, but that's the beauty of Ali's genius. He didn't need to wind up like a cartoon character to knock you out. He could break you with pure finesse. Chapter 6. Did Liston really go down for real? But then came the controversies. Was it a legitimate knockout, or did Liston take a dive? Rumors of match fixing and mob influence swirled around the fight. After all, Liston had a shady past, and many believed he was paid off to lose. Yet, even with all the doubts surrounding the knockout, no one could deny Ali's sheer brilliance. His speed, footwork, and ability to dismantle opponents psychologically were all on display that night. Sure, the knockout seemed quick, but wasn't that the point? Ali had always been float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and this was just him putting that into perfect practice. To this day, people argue about whether Liston could have gotten up, but one thing is for sure, Ali's punch, whether real or phantom, is still being talked about. And let's be honest, if you were standing in front of Ali at that moment, you'd probably fall too. Despite all the controversies, speculations, and endless chatter, Ali's career didn't hit pause. The world kept talking, but Ali, he kept moving forward. Chapter 7. Ali's rise to immortality. After the match, Ali's legacy only grew. He became more than just a boxer. He was a cultural icon, a symbol of confidence, skill, and conviction. His victory over Liston cemented his place as the greatest. But what happened to Liston? Well, his career never quite recovered. The man who once struck fear into the hearts of fighters was now on the wrong side of history. Ali, however, went on to achieve even greater things. He would later take down the likes of Joe Frazier in the Thrilla in Manila and George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. But no matter how many legendary fights Ali had after that, the Phantom Punch remained one of his defining moments. It was the punch that made the world stop and ask, what just happened? Chapter 8. The legacy of the punch that shook the world. We all love a good story, and Muhammad Ali's punch on May 25, 1965, is one for the ages. It wasn't just about a knockout, it was about brilliance, strategy, and the electrifying presence of one of the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. Ali's boxing career was filled with glorious moments, from winning the heavyweight championship multiple times to becoming a global icon. But if there's one image, one split-second moment that will forever be associated with his name, it's that punch. So, next time you're talking sports, or if someone dares to challenge the greatness of Ali, just remind them of the day the greatest delivered the punch that shocked the world.